Right, this is another video for Woodworking UK where I'm going to review some clamps. People have asked on the forum what to buy, are they any good, should I get clamps, how many do I need, and obviously you never have enough. So, basic clamps. You all know what these are, but these are great if you've got little bits of wood. Very simple, all they are is just while the glue sets, they're great for holding things together. Simple as that, and you can chuck them away or burn them. Or give them back to the missus. Other simple clamps. These are the sort you can buy in Screwfix, Wicks, pretty much everywhere. Some of them are pressed steel, some of them are stronger than pressed steel. These ones I've had years and years and years, and they seem a little bit stronger than some of the ones you can buy. So if you go to buy them, make sure they're not pressed steel and make sure they don't bend too much. They're based on a spring and friction. So when you clamp them, they can be extremely tight. But again, it's only one-handed pressure. So not too tight, but tight enough to keep most things on a bench. You can clamp things to a bench. It's good for putting a vise on a bench. Temporary tools mounted on a bench. Great. Other sorts of clamps you can buy. Everybody knows what these are. You had them at school. Extremely strong, really strong. If you've got thick wood that's warped and you need to glue it, you can bend the warp out. Always handy to have. They're very expensive to buy new, but you can buy them at boot sales. You can get them refurbished. These used to be really rusty. They were a couple of quid each. These may be a £5 each at a boot sale. I think new you can pay up to 20 quid, or for something that size I think they're over 100 new. Again, boot sale, £10. One of the fancy ones you don't see very often is a C clamp or a G clamp that's got an extra bit in it. Now the reason they've got that is so they can be used to clamp edging on. So if you've got a worktop or the front of a shelf and you want to put a bit of veneer on, you can use them. You clamp the clamp on and you slide in your veneer. Clamp it up nice and tight. Dead easy. Let's have a look. What else have we got? Spring type clamps. As a progression from the peg, you've got this sort of clamp. These are from a company called Pony, but I think they've gone bust. But there are equivalents now. Very strong clamp. Very good way of clamping bits of wood or two bits of wood together while the glue sets. It's sort of a clamp, I suppose. It's a hand vise, but it's got a clamping mechanism, and it's great for holding bits while you grind it. Not really for clamping two bits of wood together, but it stops you losing nails on a grinder or something hot. Things you wouldn't really think of as a clamp is a one-handed maul grip. Very simple. Everybody loves a gadget, so I got these last year, and you can grip things up with them, just like a clamp. Use them. Obviously, they're going to damage your wood, so protect your wood with some wooden jaws first. Right, let's move on to some better clamps. F clamps. These slide up and down, held again by friction, with a screw thread on there. The coarser the screw thread, the stronger they are, I've found. This is an Irwin one. This is the latest Stanley one. Not as strong as they used to be, but still really strong. But that said, they're not as strong as the old Sash clamps. This is a straight bar Sash clamp. Some of them come with a T-bar, but I can't find those in here. They're in here somewhere. These are amazingly strong. You can clamp all sorts with these. Again, better to protect the jaws with a little bit of wood before you tamp them up, otherwise it'll break your wood. But you can extend the lever so you can put massive turning force on there without breaking them. You'd have to be Superman to snap the threads on these. Very expensive to buy new. There are aluminium versions you can get from places like from Machine Mart. There are also people like Silverline selling them on Amazon. But to be honest, you're wasting your money. They'll bend. You're better off spending your money on something like this. These are about 20 quid each, but they will last years. These will last forever. What else have we got? A good option for the sash clamp, if you want really long ones, is to buy just the heads. Then you can put them on any bit of wood you want, any length. You can use them to clamp doors, you can use them to clamp floors. You can make them 20 feet long if you need to. Here's one I prepared earlier. As you can see, I've painted it with green toffee, what it looks like. It's a steel pole rather than a wooden bar. I wanted a steel one because I needed it to be extra strong. And I've done the same thing. I drill it along at certain intervals and it just acts like a sash clamp. The reason I put hammerite on it is so it doesn't rust, or it doesn't pick up rust from PVA glue. This is one of the basic clamps you can get, hand clamps, that acts in the same way as these do. But there's lots of plastic in this. Now, it's alright for clamping temporarily, but if you want to put any real force on there, these handles tend to snap. It doesn't matter who makes them. If you put some willy into that, they will snap off. And these bend, these flex. As I say, alright temporarily if you want to move things around in the workshop, fine. But I wouldn't recommend them, and I wouldn't put any faith in them if you're holding anything up or clamping anything that you really need to clamp together while the glue sets. But cheap enough, you can pick these up for £3 or £4 each. I mean, even cheaper at a boot sale. And what else have we got? Right, one other clamp that people have mentioned is an angle clamp. These are really useful if you're building a piece of furniture. If you drill through there, if you drill all your joints, then these can clamp it at a right angle without you needing 3 arms or 2 people. So you can put your screws in, you can put your joints in, you can glue it together while it sets. Very easy to use. I've just protected these with a little bit of wood. All these little strips of wood, incidentally, I'm not cutting them. They are wooden blinds that I pick up from a boot sale. Again, I love a boot sale. And they cost 50p a pound. Go around at midday, everybody's got wooden blinds on the floor, you just snap them up. What else have I got? I think that's pretty much it as review. The last one. No, second last one. These are toggle clamps. Now, you make something on a bench, and let me just make it. Say, for instance, that's clamped down temporarily with one of these. You're now in a position to clamp bits of wood to the bench. That's what these are for, and you get different sizes. The bigger they are, the more leverage you've got, or the more force down. You can use them on drill tables, you can use them for routing, you can use them for circular sawing, anything really. And as long as you've got them in the right shape or configuration, really, really useful things. They're not expensive. Good ones are. Cheap ones, I think Axminster do them for £3 or £4 each. They're not hugely expensive, but they are really, really useful. If you've never used them, get a couple, have a play. Last clamp. I need to move the camera. Right, this is a clamp that I made. Now, I'm not saying I'm a genius, but anyone can make these. It's just 2 steel bars, piece of M10, threaded bar in the middle, and some through nuts on the end. Now, because I don't have a lot of room in here, I don't have a big workbench for clamping up big shapes. So that allows me to put boards in vertically. I've got, I don't know whether you can see this, there's a steel lip on the underside that stops the boards sliding through. So I put my board in when I've opened it to the right width. And there's another one. Now obviously there's a gap, but I tighten these up, it holds it while I tighten it up. Because it's steel, there's little flex in it. Right, and as you can see, you get the gist. If I then clamp that, it pulls them together, and it allows me to clamp things that I couldn't normally make. I've had like 6-foot doors on this, all the way up there, and it's quite safe. It's just clamped on using a couple more clamps onto the edge of the bench. The clamps I use were lamp clamps from IKEA. They've got a hole in the top, and through that hole I've put another thread with a big wing nut on it, so I can move this around. Now everyone should have a go at making one of these. I wish I had a patent on it, but I don't. So you're free to make one unless you want to buy one of me. That's all they are. A couple of pieces of 2x1 steel. You could use wood. There's no reason to, except if you're gluing something, there's a good chance it would stick to the wood. But I would recommend you make one. So little space it uses up. So give it a whirl and let me know. I think that's about it really for Woodworking's UK review on clamps. Let me know if you've got any comments or feedback. Thanks very much.